Hey, Caitlin. Hey, Jessica. I am so glad you guys are here. All right, we are going live. Good evening, Elsie. How are you? Oh, I'm so excited to have you guys. All right, good. We're live on LinkedIn and YouTube, and Facebook is not cooperating tonight. I don't know what that is. For some reason, Facebook doesn't want to cooperate some nights. That's okay. We're just going to roll with it. So for those of you who were here enjoying last night, I'm curious, who did any delegating? Did we do any delegating to the universe? I'm just curious, like, let me know. I know, Bambi, you were excited to try that for today. So how did it go? How was the energy of it? I'm really just curious for those of you who did it, what that experience was like. And we got, oh, good. We've got Pete, we've got Makia, we've got Jamie. Welcome, everyone. So yeah, just let me know, type in the comments. I did, and one item was done. Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, I don't know how long of a comment you can type out, but I'm very curious to get more details of that. Elsie said, I did. It was freeing. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. I love it. Isn't it amazing to just release some stuff and let that go? It's phenomenal. So I'm so glad you guys did that. Yes. It was an email, Baby saying it was an email reply for help with website and domain. Yeah. Isn't it? It's so fun just to release control and trust and see how it is going to come into you. So, hey, Alexis, how are you over on LinkedIn? Yeah, guys, if you're joining on LinkedIn or YouTube, pop a comment because I can't see that you're there unless you do. But I'm so glad for everyone who's joining live. Awesome. All right. So guys, tonight, what I want to talk about tonight, it's funny because we talked about time management and productivity yesterday, right? And this actually, this kind of has to do with that too. So we're going to have some fun with that tonight, but it's this process called segment intending. And so I don't know how many of you have heard what Oprah talks about, but I love how Oprah opens up every single meeting. She asks about what is the intention for this meeting. And when I was reading about this process tonight, I thought we're kind of like Oprah-ing it up with our resistance release tonight. So we're going to have fun. Let's see. Caitlin is saying you felt more productive today than you did in a long time. Hey, Lisa, I'm so glad you're here. Oh my gosh. Love you guys. So, all right. And if you're joining for the first time, welcome. We are going through this book series, Ask and It Is Given. Ask and It's Given over here. And so we're talking about how to release resistance to what you want. And so if you're joining for the first time, there is a companion guide that goes with this, and you can get it for free at elisearcher.com/resistance because you do want to follow along with that. But that guide is going to give you basically your emotions at any point in time will tell you how much resistance you have to receiving the thing that you want. So you want to use that emotional guidance scale that goes along with this series. So go ahead and grab that, elisearcher.com/resistance if you don't have it. Tonight we are doing, I think we're just going to do one process, guys, because I keep thinking that I'm going to be quick through these, and then it's on me, it's not on you, but we go on some tangents. So we're doing process number 11 tonight for those of you who are following along with this. And this one is called segment intending. So I'm going to read to you. There's 3 times when you would use this. And then we're going to get into what this actually is. And this one is fun. I've used this one probably not as much as I'd like to, but I've used it a little bit. When I've used it, it's helped me be really focused. Give me just 1 second, guys. I want to see. Okay. If anyone knows how to remove someone from a live, just type it in the comments and let me know. It's all good though. Okay. So I've used this one with some success and with some fun. So 3 times when you use this process, the first is when you want to influence to dominate during a particular segment of your day. The second is when you recognize the potential of something not going quite right and you want to make sure it goes the way you want. And then the third is when time or money is especially important to you and you want to make the most of it. So these are kind of the 3 times when you would use it. Your emotional set point range when you use this one, because again, that's what we're talking about here, right? Is using your emotions. So leveraging your emotions as your guide for when do you use these processes. This one is going to be when you're somewhere between a 4, so level 4, so grab your companion guide that goes with the series. So somewhere between a level 4, which is positive expectation / belief, all the way down to an 11, which is overwhelm. So again, this one kind of piggybacks off what we did last night, which is fun because it is about like, how do we get more focus? How do we get out of overwhelm so that we can create what we want more powerfully? So when and how do you use this? So here's something they say in the book that I think is really, this one really spoke to me. So it says in the book, it's easier to create an improved future experience than it is to change an existing experience. So what does that mean by that? So sometimes when you're like, I was doing some coaching today with some of my clients, and some of them were in a space of probably like the lower vibration, which happens. That's natural. That's normal. It's just part of the process, guys. But what I'm taking this to mean here is that rather than trying to change that and shift that, it can be more powerful to say, the next thing I do, I'm going to create more powerfully. So it's like, I'm letting this be what it is. I'm noticing resistance around this thing, and that's okay. But the next segment of my day that I move into, I'm going to come into it with higher energy, with better energy. So when and how do you use this? This whole segment intending process is really about like, anytime you move into doing a new thing, that's a new segment of your day. Like you're moving into a new segment. And so you could think about it like you wake up in the morning and you go and you brush your teeth. That's a new segment. And then you go and you sit down and you go to do your meditation. That's a new segment. And then you go to work out. That's a new segment. So it's anytime like what you're doing in the moment is shifting. That's when you're entering into a new segment. So is this making sense so far? Let me know, guys, in the comments if this part is making sense. And the way you want to think about yourself at any time, but kind of think about this in terms of like what you do throughout your day, is that you're a magnet. So this is where we really dig into like law of attraction and how does that actually work throughout your day? Jamie's saying, yes, I love it. Okay, awesome. So you want to think about yourself as a magnet, and that you're always going to attract back to yourself the way that you feel at any point in time. So if you're feeling good, you're going to attract back more that feels good. If you're feeling bitter, I don't know what, like if you're feeling bitter, you're going to attract more back to you that makes you feel bitter. If you're feeling grateful, you're going to attract back more that makes you feel grateful. And so the way that you would do it is as you go into this new segment, and again, you're using this typically when you already feel pretty good. So you're somewhere between like thinking about possibility and positivity all the way down to overwhelm. And so when you go into this new segment, you basically pause and you would say, this is what I want from this period of my life experience. I want it and I expect it. And then you say those words with positive expectation, and you're going to attract back to you that level of what you want. So it's really, again, kind of like we talked about last night when you delegate, and how cool to hear some of your stories of like, even just, there we go, battery's back. Even just in the delegation process, like even if the thing hasn't been done for you yet, like Bambi, how cool that it just got done and handled for you, because it really can work that fast, especially when we don't have resistance. But even in the delegation process, that energy of asking it is given, it's already done. And you delegating and then just releasing that resistance to it, like how powerfully you can call in what you want and how quickly you can bring things in that you want. It's the same kind of energy here, where it's like you go into the segment, this is how I want to show up, this is how it's going to be, and it's done. And it's already handled. So that's how you're going to go into this next segment. Now, when do you not use this? You wouldn't use this one usually it's like if you're feeling bad, you probably wouldn't use this one, because again, you're kind of bringing that energy and that momentum with you into that next thing that you don't really want to drag that along with you into the next segment. You typically want to use this when you're already feeling good. And then it's also like, if you're going into doing something that you've never really felt good about. So I work with some women on like their sales prospecting. And for some of them, like, I wonder why cold calling or prospecting isn't something you've loved, right? But if let's say it's that, or it's maybe you're like trying to get yourself back in a workout routine, but that's just never really been like something that you love, it's probably not the process to use for that. And that's okay. All right. But this is more about like, you're going into the next part of your day and you want to be really intentional about it and you want to get more oomph out of it. That's when you would use this. So, okay, yes, it's making sense. Oh, thank you, Bambi. I appreciate that. I think the issue got resolved. That was like throwing me for a minute, but I think we're good here. Okay, good. So, all right, here we go. So benefits. How many of you have noticed that when you are more focused and present, it feels like time flies and it feels like you get way more done in way less time? Like, just give me some hearts or say yes in the comments if that's something that you've noticed. That's really what this is about. Because when the way that I know so many of us operate, and I certainly have found myself operating this way, is we're trying to do so many things at once that our mind isn't actually where we are, right? It's like your mind isn't where your feet are. And when you come at anything from that way, I'm glad, okay, yes, you guys are like, yes, we get this. When you come at anything from that way, you actually dilute your power. And the thing that you're looking to create takes way longer. So that's the beauty of this, is when you say, I'm going to bring my full focus and my full power, and I intend in this next segment of my day to create this result, then that happens. And it's that focused power where you're not in one place thinking about 20 things that you're trying to do next, but rather you're saying, I'm going into this next segment and this is what I intend to get out of it. And it was even, preparing tonight for this, it was fun to use this process and to say, I had an intensive with a client that wrapped up a little bit later, and we did it in the evening so she could do it like in the privacy of her home. And, I got done off the intensive probably like 15 minutes before this call tonight, or before this live tonight. And it was less time than I had intended or that I had wanted to get ready for it. But it was okay because I just set the intention and I said, I intend in this next segment of time to get exactly the information I need to be able to deliver this material powerfully. And so I'm big on like calling in your angels and asking them to expand the amount of time you have available to do the thing and contract the amount of time that it's going to take to get it done. So you can do that too. So I did some of that. But I did that and it was like, okay, I'm fully focused on right now, just this one thing. And I want you to think about if you had a day where you were going from just win to win to win to win to win, what that would feel like for you and how much you would get done. And the other thing I love, oh, thank you for the hearts. I'm glad this is resonating. The other thing that I love about this is it brings more speed to what you're doing. So for my like taskmasters, I like to get things done and cross it off the list, folks. And I know there's a lot of you on here. This is going to help you with that, because the thing that actually slows you down, slows any of us down, is focusing on a million things at once. When I used to do more like corporate traditional time management training, where I wasn't talking about angels training, I would talk about studies that have referenced, like when you try to multitask your IQ, and then you take an IQ test while you're multitasking, it literally drops to below the level it would drop if you were stoned, which is just funny to me. But how many of us are like, I'm so great at multitasking and I could do a million things at once? And have I found, especially as a mom, like there's a need for some of that? Yes. But is it the most powerful way to create? No, I can tell you that too. And you guys know that if you've tried both ways. So it's really just about full focus. That's really what it is. So it's going to bring speed to the task you're doing, because when you have that full focus, you don't have the resistance, the unnecessary resistance that's created by focusing on a million things, right? So that's what it is. It's that simple. And because you're bringing more presence into what you're doing, it lowers your resistance, because your brain is fully focused on that one thing. So that's really like, that's it. This may be my shortest training I've ever done in my life, but I want you guys to let me know, like, what are your questions on this? What are your questions too? If you've been joining the other trainings in April, like, is there anything else that you guys have questions on? Is there anything else that you're like finding challenges around or struggling with? Drea is in the house. No problem, sister. I'm so glad you're here. I love that you're here. Usually I'd be like waxing eloquently for another 45 minutes, but I think tonight's going to be a little shorter. But if you guys have questions on any of this, like, pop them in the comments, or even just like maybe something cool that's happened for you while you've been trying some of these practices. We've got Angela Stonehouse. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. But this is like, just try this, try this tonight as you go throughout the rest of your night. This one felt a little more practical to me. It's like, yeah, it's kind of just like you're focusing, right? But you're focusing your energy, which is really what this is about. Dre is saying, yeah, next time for sure I'll have to watch the replay. Yes, there's always, so the replays are up on my feed. I may take them down and turn this into more like gated content after this is done, but for now they're available on the feed, so you can go back and watch the replay. And we've got, I think this is number 11 now too. Bambi's saying, they say multitasking is just focusing short intervals on each time. So yes, they take longer. And okay, let me show my understanding what you're saying. Multitasking is just focusing short intervals on each item. So yes, they take longer. Yeah, and I think we can feel a lot of pressure to like cram so much into so little time. But that's also like, for those of you who are reading Science of Getting Rich, because I've got a lot of my clients reading that, and it talks about efficient action. So efficient action is not like bouncing from thing to thing to thing to thing. It's no, like, you do each task powerfully. You do one thing powerfully and then you move on, and another thing powerfully and then you move on. And I've noticed I used to struggle a lot with that, because I would feel like, oh my God, like I'm doing this one thing, but then I don't feel prepared for this next thing. And so my mind would be there. And the more I've given myself permission to trust that I know what to say, and that me just being present in each moment, whether it's on a sales call, whether it's in a client meeting, that I get the most powerful results. It actually does work that way. I'm seeing Makia saying, could I segment and intend during the morning for the whole day? Yes. So Makia, great question. And actually in the book, they give an example of like an entire day. And I'm not going to read it to you because it's like a couple pages, but an entire day of segment intending and what it would look like. You know, the other thing that this reminded me of, so I'm a big, actually don't follow him as much anymore, but for a long time I was a big Brendon Burchard follower. I don't know if you guys follow him a lot or not, but you know, he had this practice. He talks a lot about presence. And presence is a gift you can bring today that so few people bring to what they do, because our technology and our world sets us up to be so scattered and like, I'm here, but I'm thinking about a million other things. And then there's this beep and this alert. And Brendon had this kind of transition exercise that is really similar to segment intending, but it was really powerful for me and for a lot of my clients. And so what he said is it was release tension and set intention. So what you do is anytime you're going from one activity to the next, you pause and you literally, like, under your breath, or say it in your head if you're somewhere public, you take like 5 seconds and you just say release, 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 release. And what you do in that moment is you're just releasing, like you're feeling the tension from that thing, whatever the thing is that you were just doing, releasing from your body and dropping. So you say that word release, and then the next, so release tension, set intention. So release, and then you set your intention for the next phase. So I would do this too with a lot of like my corporate executive clients before we were all working from home, when they would be driving home and they would like kind of just immediately drag, like they park in the garage and go in and they drag the energy of that day into their time with their families. And that's not very productive energy. So I would have them like sit in the garage for a minute and just say this to themselves. say the release, 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 and then set the intention for how they wanted to show up in that next segment. Because to be effective in your life, you must bring different types of energy into each activity. And the energy you bring into your work and in your business isn't the energy you bring into your, your relationship with your significant other, isn't the energy you bring into your meditation or spiritual practice, right? And so it's like, who do I need to be in this moment to have the most powerful outcome? Dre is saying, is that why we love sitting in our car and it's so peaceful before coming back into the house? Yeah. Yeah, I would say so, right? I would say so. Y'all, I used to hang in my car for a minute. This is like years ago when I was trying to get my life together, but I would just like sit in the car and be like, I'm a hang there for a while and get it together and then go in and bring my best self into the household. But yes, I think especially now with a kid, it's like, whew, got to take a moment sometimes to get in the moment. Yeah, transitioning. Exactly. Great for end of day. Bambi's saying, yeah. And even for you guys, like as you go to bed tonight, if you're watching this in real time, set the intention before you go to sleep of how you want to sleep. So set the intention of, as I go to bed tonight, I intend to restore my energy. I intend to have peaceful sleep. I intend to dream tonight. And I intend in the morning to wake up and feel better than I've ever felt. Because you really can direct and control the flow of energy and the flow of your life. It's just most of us don't take the time to do it. This kind of goes back to like the scripting process we used a few nights ago, right? Where you actually think of yourself as the director of your own movie and you script it out. So this is all about, you are a deliberate creator of your experience, and using these practices, like just try them. And if, as I talk about them, you feel resistance or you feel like, I don't know how that would work or how that could work for me, I would just say, just try it. Just have an open mind. I can tell you using these practices has transformed my life in a very short amount of time, very short. And so that's why I felt so compelled to come on and share these. Drea is saying there's power in the tongue. I've never thought about that. I like it. There's more power than we even realize. Every word carries a frequency. Every word carries a vibration. Your body operates on frequency and vibration as well. So the words you speak over your body matter tremendously. They do. And they will create and shift the energy you have in your body, and that translates into the vibration you show up at and what you're a match for. So the words you speak are of utmost importance. It's so, so important. Yeah, this is really, really good conversation. I love that. Do you guys have any, so I feel like we're like quiet on LinkedIn and YouTube. I know I'm not streaming on Facebook right now, so that's why we're not getting anything on Facebook, but on LinkedIn, on YouTube, do you guys have questions? Do you have comments? Is there anything I can speak to either about tonight's practice or anything else that we've talked about in this series? Or perhaps there's, this goes for you too, Instagram. If there's a big goal you're going for and you feel resistance around it, like I'm happy to, help coach you through that, because this time is for you. You showed up, you're here. Is there something that you're feeling stuck around? Is there some kind of resistance that's showing up for you as you work towards your goal? Like I'm happy to, as much as we can virtually coach and talk through it in comments, I'm happy to try to help and assist. Oh, Bambi, it's my pleasure. I'm so happy you're here every night. I love it. Drea, I'm so thankful I met you too. You're amazing. You're so amazing. Yeah, I love it. Guys, go follow Drea too. She and I got to, we became new friends on Friday, hosting an event together, and you're so phenomenal, and just love you and love your energy. So I'm so glad that you're here. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to assume that we're good, unless something else pops up in the comments in the next few minutes. But definitely tune in tomorrow night. We're going to be doing we're starting to wind down the series. It's crazy. We got one more week. We've got tomorrow night, and then we've got one more week. But I'm so grateful to each of you who have been here. And if I can help support you in any way, send me a DM if you have questions. Oh, okay. Now all the comments are coming in, y'all. I'm like doing my wind down speech. Okay. So on Instagram, and then I see you guys over on LinkedIn and YouTube. So give me 1 second. Okay. On Instagram, I think I'm just being drawn to these types of conversation. I love being around positive people. Thank you. Yes, Elsie. And for each of you who are here either tonight or watching the replay later, you are like, we are an energetic match. That's the only reason why you're here. So you are here because you are feeling called to up level. You're feeling called to create a new reality for yourself. You're feeling called to call in more money, more opportunities, a different way of living, a different way of showing up. And so you are in the exact right place. You're in the perfect place right now. And I'm glad to share this space with you. Absolutely. We're seeing, hey, Leia, how are you, Queen? I love that you're joining. David is saying, I found my self-awareness improving, and this week I've intentionally shifted my thoughts and my language when I feel myself feeling out of alignment. This makes me happy. I got to tell you guys, like, because I know a lot of you personally, especially when my like engineering minded folks are like, yes, I'm getting this, I'm doing this. This makes me so happy to see that, because this is actually all science. Like everything we're doing here is actually science. It's just we don't think about it that way, but we're playing with quantum physics and energy, and it's science. So if you're an engineering minded folk, this can actually like totally speak your language. So I just wanted to say that makes me happy that this is helping. What's the next book series gonna be? Y'all, I know. Here's what I can say is it will probably be in the morning. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's probably going to be in the morning. So if you guys have been joining and loving this, like send me a DM and let me know what time would work for you. I'm thinking like maybe 8:15, 8:30 Eastern. That is more sustainable on my end, but I'm so honored that you would want to keep doing this, and let's do another book series. I love it. Why not? I'm so grateful that you guys have been showing up for this. Elsie's saying, yes, absolutely. So humbled. Bambi's saying, I can feel I'm releasing limiting beliefs. Oh, it makes me so happy. Yes, 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 yes. And guys, it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better from here. And really honor and acknowledge for all of you, like the work that you're doing and showing up. It's so amazing. This is going to transform the rest of your life. And just really honor and acknowledge, like, just feeling better. Even if nothing has if you had like a massive like physical transformation yet, where you've had like a boatload of money come in or whatever the thing is you're looking to manifest or create, like feeling better is your sign that you're on the right path. So just feeling better is all you really need, because as I said before, the only reason you want the things you want is because you think it's gonna make you feel some kind of way. So you get to feel that first, and you're feeling better means that you are now a match for that thing that you want. I love that. Start the day with a great mindset. Yeah, I'm all about morning if we can. So that's good to hear. That would work for you too. Ross, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, my friend. It's my pleasure. Oh, I love you guys. All right. Well, I think tomorrow night, maybe we'll do 2 processes. We will see. We will see. But send me a DM with any questions. And guys, if you are enjoying this and you haven't yet listened to She Sells Radio, like check out the podcast. I'm shifting more and more into that. I'm for those of you who are like, I need some sales techniques and strategy, like I don't know how long I'll be offering sales techniques and strategy on the podcast, because it's not really what lights me up anymore. So you can go back to past episodes for those, but I'm finding more and more like it's this stuff, guys. It's the mindset. It's understanding how to leverage your emotions, subconscious mind. And so check out the podcast, because I'm going to be bringing more of this. And that is, even though it's called She Sells Radio, like how man, woman, non-binary, I don't care who you are, all are welcome there. Come. So check that out. 8 a.m. Eastern is awesome. Bambi says, okay, good. I'm feeling like that's probably going to be more what it is moving forward starting in May. So, oh, all right, guys, have a beautiful night. And I look forward to hopefully seeing many of you tomorrow night at 8:00 Eastern for our final installment for this week. And then we'll be doing the following week as well. So much love to each of you. Have a beautiful night. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow.